Hi guys, Ronnie here. Today I want to show you something that's a bit different than what I show you most of the time. So not some super high-end superbike stuff. And I want to do this because there have been some requests to show some more down-to-earth cycling related stuff. So this is basically the bike I use for commuting and transport around town, and I'm going to talk you through it. This is basically a bike that my father has bought for himself because he saw me riding and he thought it was cool, but then he realized that you got to push these pesky pedals, and that's not as easy as he thought. So this bike turned out to well, just collect dust for around 2 years in the garage, and then I decided to use it this way. I've done a couple of changes, but first let's talk through the components. This is KTM's flagship road frame. Now you may know KTM as a motorcycle brand. The bicycle brand runs under the same name, but it's a completely different company. And well, to be honest, they're not the most high-end bicycle company in the world. They probably buy some off-the-shelf carbon frames made their spec. This is one of them. But even though it's not some unique design or nothing special, not something proven on ground tour level maybe, it's still quite a nice frame, and they sell it as a race frame, but if you look at the geometry, the head tube length and the general ride feel of the bike, it's more of an endurance bike to me. This is size 55, so it's a bit too much for me. You can see not too much seat post out there. The head tube quite big. It also has a down tube mounted brake, direct mount brakes on both ends, and this needle integrated seat post clamp, which now that I have modified actually clamps the seat post properly so it doesn't slip. So the ride of this bike, it's quite stiff, so well, of course not on the level of the Madone or such, but one thing that really stands out is the comfort, because it's really just super supple over the rough stuff, even off-road. I rode it a couple of times, and yeah, the frame seems to soak up the vibration well, and I think part of it is down to the bridgeless design and maybe the seat post design. Maybe if it was a smaller size, a 52 maybe, that's the next smallest size, with more seat post showing, it would be even better. But for comfort, this frame is really rather good, with decent power transfer as well. So yeah, group set wise, Ultegra Di2, nothing special, nothing too fancy. This is basically just workhorse stuff. Really nice electronic shifting, dependable, not too expensive, not too heavy. Good stuff. This bike has the older battery in it, so I couldn't make it synchro shift. I really wanted to try that out in practice, but I couldn't. So that's a mystery for me at the moment. I haven't tried it yet. Wheels, I must say I'm not really a fan of Mavic wheels, but these are one of them. Mavic Xerium Elites, I think. So standard aluminum training wheels, clinchers. Stiffness wise, no brake rub. They ride pretty well. Internal width is quite modern, and it really holds these 28mm tires to a good shape. I've heard from many people, and there were many comments when I was testing my expensive carbon wheels, that aluminum brake surfaces are much better in dry and wet conditions. Well, then they're simply not, at least not these ones. Any carbon wheel I've owned brakes much better than this wheel in the dry and in the wet. So that's, I think, mid busted for me. Maybe it's down to the plasticky brake pads on there, but yeah, these just don't work really well. The power is there, but there's very little feel or modulation. They feel quite wooden, even though the brakes themselves are excellent, so it's really not their fault. I think it must be the wheels then. So aluminum wheels in that regard, that's a no for me. And they're not tougher than carbon wheels either, so yeah, if you can afford carbon wheels, get them for sure. They're very slow as well. You can actually notice it compared to my Madone. So cockpit wise, Ritchie WCF aluminum parts, so pretty high end. Physic Antares saddle, that's quite good for this relaxed position. I didn't want to slam it because I use it just for cruising around and riding without cycling shorts on a slammed bike, not very comfortable. One bottle cage there just to be sure, but I don't think I have ever used it. This is my father's Edge 1000. He has used it at least twice now, so quite useless. I don't really like the 1000, it's too big and bulky in my opinion. You should only get this if you really want some proper navigation done, otherwise you're much better off with the 520 or the 820 now. Since I use this bike for commuting, I also need to have a proper set of lights. So I use the Ontraga Ion 700 RT and Flare RT at the rear, and these are really quite powerful LED lights, rechargeable through USB. They're really expensive compared to what they are, but you can control them through the Garmin. This is what the RT stands for, remote control, and they're super bright, super visible. The rear one should be visible from 2 kilometers in direct sunlight, so it's quite good. I also have a couple of speed play pedals in there, but I think I should swap these for a pair of high quality flat pedals, because I mostly use this bike in normal shoes. What else? Yeah, this bike is not too heavy either, just under 8 kilos, so pretty decent. Another thing I don't really like is the old school cork bar tape. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me in the hands when riding. Not too much feedback. And I also don't like the factory wrapping. I've seen that most people and most stock bikes have a huge overlap between the bar tape, so the bar tends to be really rather large in diameter, and that's not something I prefer. Also, the Ultegra hoods are quite a lot thicker than they have been on my Durace levers previously, and they're also much thicker than the SRAM E-Tap hoods, so yeah, that's good for comfort, but I don't know, I have small hands, I don't like to have these large diameters anywhere on the bar. Yeah, the bar drop is also not the compact shape, but this old school, rather a deep drop down there. It looks a bit odd to me on a modern bike, and it's not very comfortable either, so I prefer the compact drop bars, even though I ride a quite aggressive position. Tire wise, that was the last modification I have made. So I have swapped the stock Mavic tires when they were new for these 28C Vittoria Rubinos, which are not the highest end tire, but they have a graphene compounds, and I have found them to be quite tough. No punctures yet, so that's good, and they also hold the pressure with standard tubes for quite a long time, so they don't need to be reinflated too often. Yeah, I think that's all about this bike. I hope you have enjoyed this. I really like riding this. It's a nice little change, because most of the time when I ride my high-end bikes I tend to push things up a bit. Now this bike is quite relaxed, so I can just mess around with it. I sometimes take it off-road or practice some wheelies, track stands and things like that. I really like it. It would be completely perfect though if it had disc brakes, because then it would have much more off-road capability, even though the tire clearance is quite generous. But my cross bike should arrive soon, so hopefully it's going to solve that problem. Okay, so I think that's all for today. If you'd like to see more about my other bikes, which are a bit more special than this, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.